Dynamic, articulate, perceptive, courageous, outspoken.
Welcome back to the dojo, y'all. Welcome back to the reactionary dojo. That's where we at. We in a reactionary dojo. So this time, title of the video, man loses it after cop discovers his murder recording. Man loses it after cops discover his murder recording. So I don't really know exactly what this is going to be about. I think I may have seen it before, but I didn't do a reaction to it, and I don't really remember if this was the one I seen. Even if it is, I'm still going to do a full reaction. It's a 30-minute video, and I want to see how crazy this is, because I know it. Look, it's got 758,000 views in a month, 3,000 comments. This guy's what prisons and capital punishment are for. That's what one of the comments says. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it and see what's going on.
This man.
I hate when my computer does this. Bear with me.
This man was being overly confident before his interrogation, thinking that nothing would happen to him. But the officers were about to show him that they knew far more than he thought.
You think she did everything, but you don't, bro. That's not.
This was the moment when the killer lost control, horrified to learn that the cops had found the chilling recording of his murders.
Okay, so hold on. It's more than one. They said chilling recordings of his. They said plural. They said it was plural. Let me see. Let me check this. Okay, got some other stuff over there. But look, man. He did more than one, so they got... Wow. Okay.
Somebody hit me with this. Where's that rap, man? I ain't about to do this, man. Talk about it, guys. So they got nothing on me, man. Crazy.
It was around 6:13 p.m. on January 6, 2024, when the New Orleans Police Department received a chilling 911 call that would set off a chain of events no one saw coming.
New Orleans 911, this is location of emergency. I'm at the corner of Washington and Magnolia. Somebody just got shot in front of my door. They lying on the ground right now. I think she did. All right, officer, they'll be dispatched to the location.
Officers rushed to the 2700 block of Washington Avenue, 6th District, Central City, in New Orleans. Arriving at the scene, detectives found a woman lying motionless on the sidewalk, blood pooled around her body, seeping into the cracks of the pavement.
We got some, what we think is blood spatter coming from her body towards the street.
So basically, this woman was sitting in her house, heard some gunshots, looked outside, and seen somebody laying on the ground, blood coming out. This, whoever did it, y'all just did it just anywhere. Didn't care where it was at. Just, man. So you got somebody out here going on a rampage, just taking people out. And you think they're not going to find you? Man.
Street, and then some droplets going like down the sidewalk that way. Hit at least twice, once in the head, and then in the belly.
Initial observations suggested she had been hit twice, once in the head and once in the stomach. The pattern indicated movement, suggesting that after being shot, she had made a desperate attempt to run for her life before finally collapsing. But the most chilling realization was that the location didn't seem random at all.
It's a great place to do a murder, dude. It's like quiet. We got no witnesses, no cameras, so we can see.
Anybody knows the victim?
So, okay, so he had some sense about where he did it, but even still, you in front of somebody's house, somebody gonna call that in. You know somebody gonna do that. You got a dead body sitting in front of your yard, like you gonna call that in. You like, yo, somebody gotta come get this person. Like, you can't just have somebody just laying there bleeding out. Like, nah, somebody, you know. It's like, it seems to me like people who do things like this, they on their way out anyway. They ain't got nothing to lose, and they taking money for murder for hire plots. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Like, it was a murder for hire. Cause like, people just be sloppy with it. People be real sloppy with it. A lot of the street murders that go on today are real sloppy. Nobody's thinking about how they gonna get caught. They don't think they is gonna get caught. Oh, nobody saw me. Bro, it's cameras everywhere. And then you got detectives who gonna piece together the case. If it's any evidence at all that leads back to you, bro, you're done. You can't have nothing traced back to you. And can't nobody know that you did it. Can't nobody know that you did it. So, murder for hire, it's always going to be a trace back to whoever set up the plot or whoever paid the money. Like, it's all going to be found out, man.
Your family? Nobody else in yet?
The crime didn't appear to be a robbery gone wrong. Her purse, phone, and wallet were all still there, untouched. It was clear the motive had been something else entirely. Her posture at the scene suggested she'd been caught off guard, likely ambushed, but the killer had been careful. There were no obvious clues left behind.
At this time, your mind is just kind of racing. Internally, I'm asking myself questions such as, why was the victim there? Who witnessed this? That I want to try to figure out immediately once I get on scene.
When the body was examined more thoroughly, more wounds were discovered. She had been shot at least 7 times. Bullet.
Damn. 7, man. 7 times, bro. She got hit 7 times. Initially, they only thought it was 2. Man. That's cold. That's a savage, bloodthirsty, cold-blooded murder. In cold blood. Just got this woman bleeding out in front of somebody's house, just on the corner of, what you said, Magnolia and something. I done heard a lot about violence in New Orleans, but I never really looked into any stories about it. Man, that's crazy.
Bullet wounds were visible on her hand, arm, and head, with some exit wounds present. Hoping to find someone who had seen or heard something, they began canvassing the area, knocking on doors, questioning nearby residents. That was when a woman from a nearby apartment complex stepped forward with something important. She said she'd heard a loud noise outside right around the time of the murder, something that definitely stood out.
There's a lady said she heard her arguing with a male. They were arguing pretty loud, but she was upstairs and she didn't hear. She heard several gunshots. Okay.
So you had somebody else who came forward that heard a little bit of the argument and heard the gunshots. So detectives, they doing their work, they finding out information, and people are coming forward to help with the case. That's another thing. Like, you don't know who's gonna help the cops. Who's scared enough of you striking again that they gonna help the cops with any information at all to get you up off the street. Like, people be terrorizing the neighborhood with stuff like this, and it be average everyday people who go to work trying to earn a living that want to get up out of that situation. And then, like, man, you just make it hard for everybody that's in that area. Now they gonna be on their P's and Q's. They gonna be on pins and needles worrying, are you gonna strike again? Like, they don't even know who did it, but it's like, man, like, I gotta get out of this neighborhood. Like, you terrorizing the neighborhood doing stuff like this.
Hearing that a male and a female were arguing prior to gunshots tells me that this person may have been close to the victim.
Assuming the woman had most likely overheard the victim and her assailant, detectives believed her account offered a subtle but critical clue.
And see how the detective put that together? He said they were arguing. You're not going to argue with somebody that you're not involved with or you're not related to or you don't care about. You're just going to take them straight out in cold and super cold blood. But this seems like, this part of the video says a targeted attack. So yeah, it was definitely a target if you arguing with somebody before you take them out. Like, why was y'all arguing? What was this disagreement about? The detectives is putting all this together. They getting all the information they could possibly get about this scenario. But I'm wondering how they gonna catch the guy. How did they catch the guy with basically no evidence? All you know is a random person arguing. You know it was a man. Okay. But how y'all gonna find him though?
As they were still processing the scene, a man and a woman approached quietly, standing just behind the yellow police tape. They were visibly shaken, whispering anxiously to each other, and scanning the area with concern etched across their faces. When officers approached and asked them why they were there, the pair explained they were searching for a missing family member.
Tell them what the person you're looking for. Tell them what they look like. Sure. What's her name? Kayla. How do you know her?
Family member.
What's your relationship? You family as well?
That's my girl.
That's your girlfriend? Okay.
The deceased woman lying on the ground, the man said, looked like his cousin, but he couldn't be certain.
How did y'all come out here though?
My girl, my man told me she saw tape out here, and I told her to come get me real fast so I could come out here and make sure everything was done.
After I left from with home, she told me she was going home.
So you was with Kayla?
Yeah.
At what time?
20 or 5.
Did you ask her like what made her think that's your cousin?
No, I didn't. It's New Orleans.
Detectives couldn't help but find the couple's behavior suspicious, sensing they were holding something back.
So these people came to the scene of the crime. They came to the scene of the crime. Why? Why would you go to a scene of a crime? Like, you got police swarming all around. Why would you even want to go anywhere near that? That don't make sense to me. If I see police around, man, I'm going the other way. I'm going the other way. But for whatever reason, their behavior or their motive stuck out to police, so they questioned them. And then they didn't really get no answers, so they probably... I'm sure these people going to get interrogated or questioned or something. I'm sure of it. Because you don't just walk up to the scene of a crime and just think you just going to not get involved some kind of way. Like, that's not smart. That is not smart.
Since they weren't offering up much information, officers decided to separate them for questioning. They focused.
Just like I thought, they getting questioned. They getting separated to see how the stories line up or see how far off the stories are from one another. Yeah, they going piece it together.
Particularly on the woman, pressing her for more details. If the victim really was her boyfriend's cousin and her friend Kayla, then detectives needed to know exactly what she knew, especially because they claimed to have been with Kayla earlier that evening before they went their separate ways.
What made you think that was your friend? Somebody told you that?
No.
Did you know she was going to be in this area?
No, sir.
So before you called your boyfriend, did you call Kayla to see if it was Kayla?
No, I didn't call Kelly.
I've been doing this a long time, and I'm telling you something is missing here.
We just
understand
to
that.
make sure it wasn't her.
How long you been here?
I've been here for what?
So she said she wanted to make sure it wasn't Kayla, her family member or whatever. They was going over to make sure it wasn't her. Why would you think it's her in the first place? That's the first question. Why would you think it was her in the first place? And you go over there to see if it was her. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. You would only do that if you know her life was in danger or somebody was out to get her. So already you look suspicious. And the cops is right to question you and interrogate you because you put yourself in a silly position trying to figure out what's going on or who was that? Was that her? Y'all know something. And that's why y'all getting questioned and interrogated.
Couple of minutes.
And not one time have you called Kayla to see if Kayla's phone rang. So if that is Kayla, I'm gonna be like, damn. How is she such a psychic? What you're telling me just don't make sense. I'll be honest with you.
When neither of them could provide any satisfactory answers, detectives decided to take them to the police station for further questioning.
For the time being, her and him are not free to leave. They are being detained, no phone calls or anything. I want to verify if that's Kayla or not. So right now I have the officers detaining them, but I want to see if we can verify if that's Kayla. Because if that's Kayla, to me, I got more questions.
Well, looks like y'all done implicated yourself some kind of way. Not smart at all. Not smart at all. Whether you knew what was going on or not, when police activity is going on, man, you want to get out of there. You don't want to be nowhere around that. You don't want to be nowhere around that because you will be stopped, you will be questioned, and you might get taken into custody for more questioning, like these two were. I gotta get me a little snack or something. I'm a little hungry. Bear with me. I'll be right back. Had to take me a quick little break. Had to get something to eat. I wasn't even thinking clearly. But yeah, let's continue.
Meanwhile, other detectives were working to identify the victim. As they searched through her purse, they came across an ID card, and the name on it confirmed what they suspected. 27-year-old Kayla Kelly. She was officially identified, and with that information, suspicions around the couple grew even stronger.
They're definitely lying to me. They definitely know more than what they're telling, and we need to speak more at headquarters.
At headquarters, the questioning continued. The young woman who had claimed to be Kayla's friend sat shivering, claiming she was cold.
What happened? I told you. The girl that was killed, her name is Kayla. Did you and Kayla get into it tonight? And who got into it with Kayla? Who shot Kayla 7 times? Today's not my first day on the job. Excuse me. Who is Kayla? So it's and Kayla cousins. I'm asking you, because you involved just as much as him. Must be him. Knowing that this female came to me and said that they believed that this was Kayla, I was expecting some type of remorse, but not receiving none. Everything.
Okay, so she was just cold. She felt like she didn't have no involvement to it. She didn't care. She didn't care at all. So he's trying to figure out what's their involvement and how do they know Kayla? Because that was indeed her name. They looked at her ID and that was her name. So they're like, how did you know who this person was and they were going to be here? They implicated themselves just by showing up to the police tape. Implicated yourself, man.
That's taking place right now, I just know that there's something missing.
The detectives sensed deception. She knew more than she was letting on. Her responses were vague and detached, almost like she was deliberately holding something back. It was clear she knew more than she was letting on. But when they couldn't get her to open up, detectives turned their attention to the young man, hoping he'd be the one to crack under pressure.
You say this girl Kayla was your cousin.
Yes, sir.
But you don't know her last name?
I really don't. I'll put that on my show.
So how did she end up at your house today? Was it like an hour before you went to work? You left out to go to work?
I left out at work around 4 o'clock. So, like I said, we were sitting outside probably like an hour before.
He was adamant he had been at work during the time of the murder. So to verify this, his workplace was contacted.
Damn, they doing a thorough investigation. They gonna talk to whoever they can, no matter how little your involvement or attachment to these people are. They's gonna find it out, bro. They can get your phone records. When it comes to an investigation, man, everything's open for the police, man. You can't involve your man. Why would you go to the crime scene? Why would you go to the crime scene? There's no good reason for you to go to the crime scene. You knew something happened, and you knew this woman named Kayla. Why would you go to the crime scene? They probably knew that she was going to be gunned down, and they know exactly who did it. They know exactly who did it. That's why they went up there, because he probably called them and said, yeah, I took care of that. Bro, that's crazy. You put yourself there, like, you just helping them solve the case, and you think you not helping them, but you are helping them.
Hey, how you doing? This is Detective Batman with the NOPD Homicide Division. I'm speaking here with a employee of yours, Miss.
Yeah, he worked for us.
Okay, he just told me that he was at work today and he had to leave. I was just trying to see if I can verify a time that he came in and time he left out, if possible.
Yeah, of course. He came in around 5 p.m. and left probably 7:30.
So he already lying. He already lying. He said, what did he say? He said he left out around 4. Well, that already, if he left for work around 4, that means he could have got there at 5. But you don't clock in at 5 and leave 2.5 hours later. So that's already suspicious. Like, even if his times don't match up, it's just like you already giving them the wrong information. And when they find out the right information, it looks bad. It looks real bad.
He was just in the kitchen working.
Okay, and he said he had to leave at some point.
Yeah, he said that he had a family emergency and needed to leave. When he told me he needed to leave, it was very off-putting. He said something about his brother had shot his girlfriend.
Oh.
It was a very strange.
So right there, he told work what happened, and you think they're not gonna contact your job? Damn, bro. They gonna search high and low. They gonna search every crack and crevice they can to crack this case. And y'all just making it real easy by putting yourselves at the scene of the crime because y'all knew something. They trying to find out what y'all knew. And when they find out what y'all know or knew at the time, then they gonna keep going until they find the guy who did it. Dang, it ain't hard to figure out, but it's nice to see what they do when stuff like this happens. This is very informative.
I've never had anybody say that to me. I was like, if you try to go to work, this is not the way to do it. So It's just a very strange ordeal. I just wanted to make sure I brought that up.
Appreciate it.
He doesn't say anything, the name was further, but when he showed me the contact on his phone, it was Earl.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So in your phone, you had the contact of the guy's name. So now they're going to look for Earl. They're going to look for Earl. How many Earls? How many people are named Earl? That's the question. Now they got to find out how many Earls are in New Orleans. Of course they're going to look at their crime database, but bro, you don't even be knowing the mistakes that you're making when you're making them. Should have never walked up to that crime scene.
Was a bombshell. Detectives already suspected the man might be lying, but they hadn't expected this kind of revelation from his employer. It was oddly specific, almost too bizarre to be made up. Yet at the same time, it felt a little too calculated to be the whole truth. Nevertheless, they now had a lead. However, they only had the first name, Earl, so they began to look through the crime records in hopes of finding the name. And shockingly, they did hit the jackpot. They found a name, Earl Michael Simmons, a 31-year-old man who had prior run-ins with the law, including domestic disturbances. The detectives pulled up his record, and sure enough, he had a long history of violence. Now, the case was taking shape. The argument before the gunshots suddenly made sense. Kayla and Earl had likely been the ones fighting before she was shot. But before deciding anything, they needed to confirm whether they were after the right guy or not. They first decided to confront the woman with the picture of Earl and see if she could identify him.
So, who's that? Who's that?
You're thinking about it too long, I think,
Well, you don't really know me, so you can picture. Was he at your house earlier? Okay. And what happened between him and Caleb? This is the point where you sit here and say to myself, let me be honest, because what I need to hide for. Were you involved in this? So if you were involved in this, why are you so afraid to speak the truth?
Did anybody hurt my dogs? Please.
You asking us about some dogs, and I'm talking about a girl that's dead on the ground.
Those dogs are evident.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what's crazy? You think Caleb parents right now who don't know that their daughter is dead, think that means something to them? You think your mom would be caring about dogs right now if it was you? Look how heartless you sound right now. Come on. Kayla means something to somebody too.
When the detective didn't put the picture down, you were silent for about 30 seconds and you took deep breaths.
They go off of everything you do. They are watching every move you make. Every micro reaction, micro reaction, every thought, every little movement. They watching all of it, and they got it on camera so they can play it back and look at it again and again and again to find out what you're trying to hide. Man, being in that interrogation room must be something, because people always crack under that real pressure. People always crack under that real pressure, man. So now
Detectives note.
Now they're going to piece together the crime and see how you're involved. What was your relation? Like, all that. They got the name Earl. They putting this thing together.
How the photograph remained untouched across the table.
I gotta give the detectives they props, because without hardly anything to go on, just a body laying in the street, they starting to piece it together. And because we saw in the very beginning the guy was acting crazy, acting wild, that probably was the guy, more than likely. And I want to see how they piece it together.
She didn't even flinch. Throughout the interview, she shifted uncomfortably in her seat, eyes fixed on the table, avoiding all eye contact. No matter how hard they pressed, she remained tight-lipped, unmoved, even when reminded of the pain Kayla's family must be going through. It was clear she wasn't going to crack. So, detectives knew it was time to change course. They turned their attention to the man she came in with, hoping he'd be the one to reveal something.
Who is that?
Why are you showing me the picture?
Because Kayla's dead on the ground. That's why I'm showing you this picture.
Kayla's dead on the ground.
Kayla was killed. Y'all know that. I printed this picture for a reason. Who was that?
What made you come over there?
Okay, answer my question. Who is that? I don't know y'all were doing this, but I'm gonna figure it out tonight. There's no need for us to each other. There's no need for you to ask a million questions and say a million things. I answer a simple question.
It was deja vu all over again. Just like the woman, the man wasn't talking either. Both of them were tight-lipped, refusing to give up a single detail. And that silence only fueled the detective's frustration even more.
You care more about some dogs than...
She's just deflecting.
Yeah. Did she say what happened?
I was like, how is he relevant to this? She's like, it's older brother.
They didn't want to let the pair walk away just yet, but legally, they had no choice. Neither of...
So because they couldn't really implicate them completely, they couldn't find out what their involvement was. It was just somebody's brother. They had to let them go. Because they really not involved. They just know what happened. And they're not going to tell what they know. Detectives is trying their damnedest to get it out of them. But if they didn't do nothing wrong, you can't keep them there, unfortunately. So just because they know something don't mean they did something. You know what I mean? They want to get them to snitch on Earl or whatever his name is, if he indeed did it. But, man, it's crazy how far they'll go and what they'll put other people through just to find out. Just to find. Sitting there grilling them. Like they really care about the girl Kayla. They don't care about that girl Kayla. They want to get that conviction. They want to get that notch on their belt. You know what I mean? They want to get the prestige that comes with cracking a murder case. That's what it's all about. It ain't got nothing to do with that girl Kayla. They don't care about Kayla. They just using her name to try to get an emotional response out of the people they talking to. That's what that's about.
Of them was under arrest, and without solid evidence, the detectives couldn't hold them. Luckily, they did manage to uncover one crucial detail. The man, Earl, was the woman's older brother.
Oh, okay, so he's related to the girl. Earl is related to the girl who didn't want to say nothing. So he's related to her, okay.
That would explain her silence. Maybe she was trying to protect him.
She was indeed trying to protect him. She know what he did. She not going to force her brother to go down. It could have been that they the ones that set it up. They the ones that wanted her to get gunned down. I don't know the involvement or whatever. I don't know nothing about this case, but that's your family member. Regardless of how much you like, hate, love them or whatever, you're not gonna try to you're not gonna give them up to the cops. If you care anything about them, you're not gonna do that. So it makes sense. I'm not saying I agree with or I can condone violence or whatever, but it makes sense.
But before jumping to conclusions, the next step was clear. Detectives needed to confirm whether Earl and Kayla actually knew each other, and the best way to do that was to scour nearby surveillance footage, trace their movements, and search for any link between them. They needed something concrete, evidence that could finally tie Earl to the scene and lead them one step closer to the truth.
So we need to get the video from the pizza place. What if all four of them really did walk him? We need to get him on video with her. How about you go swing over there by the house? See if any cameras nearby.
But before moving forward with the investigation, detectives had one heartbreaking task to complete. They had to inform Kayla's family. At first, they couldn't reach Kayla's mother, but then they learned that the coroner's office had already spoken to her father, a former New Orleans police officer.
So her father used to work for the force. Oh wow. So yeah, her father used to work for the force, so he's gonna help the detectives any kind of way he can. That's his daughter, bro. She was a police officer's daughter. You ain't gonna get away with this, man. You is not gonna get away with this.
So, detectives gave him a call, hoping he could shed some light on Kayla's life and who she might have been in contact with recently.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
I'm aware that you have been informed by the coroner's office already of what occurred.
Yes.
But first and foremost, let me offer my condolences to you and your loss, to you and your family.
Thank you.
I don't know much about Kayla. I couldn't find much about her. I know. Were y'all from here?
Yes. And she was a beautician. She went to school for it. She got a diploma and she had already been doing makeup work. She was working in the French Quarter making up faces.
When you do come down, we'll meet in person and we'll go over the whole case, okay?
Thank you very much.
Nothing in Kayla's life stood out as unusual or suspicious. Nothing that pointed detectives towards a solid lead. Still, they were determined to get to the bottom of her murder.
So, the person who committed the shooting, in their mind, they thought or believed that they would get away with it.
Well, that's self-explanatory because nobody commits a crime thinking they're gonna get caught. Nobody commits a crime thinking they're gonna get caught. If you think you're gonna get caught, you're not gonna do it. Simple and plain. Nobody really wants to go to jail. You know what I mean? If there's some outliers out there, I don't know what type of mentality they have. But no person in a right mind wants to get locked up or go to jail, prison, what have you. So, of course.
And here we are, in the middle, not so quick.
The next day, detectives went door to door near the crime scene, searching for leads or footage that could link Earl and Kayla.
Hey, how you doing? You live here?
You look like a popo. Are you the popo?
Yes, ma'am. Just one po, though. I'm curious.
Yeah, just one pole, though. Oh, man.
If you could hear them, what was going on with the female.
Yeah, well, what they normally do is subpoena the camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's under like your email address or something?
Yeah.
What that would be?
My camera's at 26. That's a surveillance camera.
At first, speaking with the neighbors felt like a lost cause. None had seen or heard anything out of the ordinary.
Well, I could understand that because it's like I ain't got nothing to do with what's going over there and I don't want to get involved. I don't need y'all disturbing my peace of mind, knocking on my door all hours of the day and night, trying to piece this thing together. People don't want to be involved in none of that nonsense, especially when they had nothing to do. They don't know them people. It's like, man, I don't know nothing, man. Get away from my door. I don't want nothing to do with this. I would feel the same way if somebody knocked on my door talking about there was a murder up the street. We trying to piece together any, like, sir, officer, I don't know anything. I'm not involved. I'm a working man. I go to work every day. All these people in this neighborhood, I barely know any of them. I don't know none of them. I don't talk to them. I just see them coming out their house or getting in their car or whatever. That's all I know. I don't know nothing about these people. And that's why the detectives probably felt like it was a lost cause, because if you're not involved, you don't want to be involved.
It seemed like just another dead end. But just when hope was fading, detectives uncovered a crucial breakthrough: surveillance footage that would change everything.
So that's my victim here. You're gonna get a male, it's gonna come right here. He's gonna walk in front of the camera, which is great, because it's a clear shot of his face.
Oh, yeah. So, that's him, yeah.
There you go. They got his face. They got his face. He got glasses on, look like. Man. Like I said, man, it's cameras everywhere. You ain't getting away with nothing. You ain't getting away with nothing. If you got away with it by some slim chances because you just happened to hit a blind spot, or they couldn't, or where you did the crime, no cameras was able to see you. And nobody, no person saw you. Nobody who wanted to tell on you or whatever. Like, bro, like, it's just best to just put away the life of crime, because we are in a surveillance state. There's cameras. Everything's tracked and monitored. Like, you can't get away. You can't get away. You got to be able to teleport out the country or something if you want to get away with something like this. You got to teleport out the country to a place where they not going to give you up. I don't know, Singapore or something like that, Switzerland or something like that. But shoot, man. Y'all got to stop committing crimes, man. Y'all got to let that shit go. Y'all got to let that life go, man. Because that life ain't going to do nothing but put you in jail or put you in the grave.
Look at that gap. That's like,
Yeah.
pretty clear cut.
As you watch
tension.
it, you can see like they're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The hand gesture, you're gonna see it.
Yep, yelling across the street.
Yeah.
The footage showed Earl's face with crystal clarity, leaving no doubt that he had been with Kayla that night. One camera caught them at opposite ends of the road, but another angle revealed what happened after they crossed paths.
You can see it's my victim. She has like a white cap on her head. It's the male she's walking with. I subpoenaed the ring camera footage from the canvas. The footage shows Earl and Kayla arguing on the street before the murder happens.
This alone gave detectives enough evidence to press charges. But what came next shook them to their core. A different camera had captured the most disturbing piece of evidence yet: the actual moment of the murder.
So if you look up here by this tree and like this pole, like where the mouse is at, you're gonna see the gunfire. It should be coming up soon.
Oh.
There you go. That's gonna flash there. It's gonna be another one. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Damn, so they just looked at the gun flash. They looked at where he was at around the time of the incident, seen the gun flash on a different camera, and they have his face. They got you. They put it together. They put this thing together with almost no details. It's just the fact that the two relatives, or whatever you want to call them, they showed up at the scene of the crime. They gave it away. I'm not saying I condone anything in this video. Like, I'm neutral. I'm not on the police side. I'm not on the family side. I'm not on Kayla's side. It's just really good detective work. You got to give credit when it's due. That's some really good detective work. That man did not rest until he put that case together.
Just when they thought they had seen it all, an unexpected discovery pushed the case even further into darkness. Detectives learned of another case, reported just 4 hours after Kayla's body was found.
What?
Around 10 p.m., a man named Eddie Matthews was discovered with multiple gunshot wounds at the corner of South Liberty Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It's always on the MLK Boulevard. Bro, from what I seen online, what people say about MLK Boulevards, stay off of MLK Boulevard late at night, because it seemed like that's where it all goes down. Why Martin Luther King? Out of all places, it's always Martin Luther King. It's always Martin Luther King. And then the crazy part about this thing is, it was 2 murders in the same night. 2 murders in the same night. Somebody went on a rampage.
And just like Kayla's case, this one too came with a chilling piece of CCTV footage.
So, like I said, man, it's cameras everywhere. You're not getting away with nothing. Even if the camera footage is blurry or they can't, you know what I mean? It's multiple cameras on all these streets, these businesses, people's houses, cameras on the corner, police cameras. Like, bro, where you think police cameras get set up for? They get set up there because there's so many crimes that happened that they couldn't find out what happened because there was no eyes on the scene, or people who were there didn't want to give up the suspect or the perpetrator or whatever. Bro, you cannot be out here committing crimes in a metropolitan area because you will be found out. There's cameras everywhere. Everywhere. Let this be a deterrent to anybody want to do something wild in the street, man.
They go behind this fence for a little bit, and you can't, because of where the camera's at, you can't really see what they're doing over here.
Right.
Shoots him.
Which way he went after that?
He went back that way, the same way he walked before.
Oh, wow.
But what truly sent a shiver down the spines of everyone working both cases was the ballistic report. It confirmed that the same gun had been used in both murders.
Wow. Wow. So they pieced that together. Both of these people lost their life on the same day, and it looks like to be from the same gun. See, that's what happens. People, they get that little piece of steel and they want to run around with it everywhere. Once you commit a crime with that thing is hot. You can't use that same gun no more. Cause it's gonna always trace back to you. It's gonna always trace right back to you. Whoever did one, you gotta get rid of that thing. Now, I'm not into crime, but when I'm looking at this, it's making sense. They can trace the gun back. If it was used more than once, they can trace the gun, they can trace the bullets, they can trace all. They probably can trace back to where the bullets was bought. If it was bought at a store, they can trace all that back, man. All of that. Crazy.
So it's very likely that we may be dealing with the same suspect. I'm realizing that Earl Simmons possibly committed 2 homicides in a matter of like 4 to 5 hours on the same night. I was shocked.
To get conclusive proof, the lead detectives from both cases, Edmund Walker, who was handling Kayla's case, and Jameson Deesberg, who was investigating Eddie's, sat down together to review and compare the surveillance footage side by side. Now, the cases weren't just similar, they were connected. 2 lives taken, 4 hours apart, less than a mile from each other, by the same person. This was no longer just a hunt for a killer. It was a race to stop a merciless predator before he struck again. Both departments were eager to issue a warrant for Earl Simmons. However, one question still remained. Why would Earl kill 2 people on the same night who had no apparent connection to each other?
So there's no motive right now?
None. No. They like meet up, and then he walks off, and for some reason he walks back and shoots the guy, and all cool, calm, and
yeah.
But
you killed 2 people in 4 hours. 4 hours.
That's wild.
Eddie had once been a mechanic, but after losing his wife, his life took a downward spiral. He stopped taking care of himself and eventually ended up on the streets. Yet, despite his struggles, Eddie was never a troublemaker. He kept to himself, never picked fights, and didn't cause problems for anyone. His murder seemed completely senseless. The only possible link was that Earl's brother lived just around the corner from where Eddie was killed, but whether that connection meant anything remained a mystery. Kayla's case, however, was far more complicated. There was clearly some kind of relationship between her and Earl, perhaps even a close one. But what wasn't clear was why he would end her life. Nevertheless, with enough evidence finally stacked up, detectives secured an arrest warrant for Earl Simmons. But having the warrant was only half the battle. Earl was still out there. 11 days had passed since Kayla's murder, and he had vanished without a trace. Luck wasn't on Earl's side for long. On January 18th, 2024, detectives followed a lead to his brother's house. But when they got there, Earl wasn't about to go down without a fight.
When officers arrived to the house to apprehend Earl Simmons, he peeked through the door, then ran to the back. The 2 other occupants inside the house came out, and they attempted to lie for him and say that he wasn't there.
After an intense game of cat and mouse, Earl was finally tracked down and taken into custody. Detectives also carried out a full search of the Earl's own house.
When we first walk into the house, it is not well kept. Back of the house looked like a giant dog pen. It was bad living conditions for a human or a pet.
Shell casings from the same caliber used in both shootings.
Well, they got the shell casings. Why you got shell casings inside the house? You be shooting a gun off inside the house? Man, bro, it's just getting inside the mind of a criminal is not for me, bro. Getting inside the mind of a criminal is not for someone like me.
Were found.
None of it makes sense, bro. None of it makes sense.
On the bed, a promising lead. But detectives knew they had to keep searching if they wanted to find the murder weapon itself. Just as doubt began to creep in, they discovered a gun in the most unexpected place.
It was tucked in a shoe. Right. In the back corner of a closet that was filled with junk. Hey, well, that's why we only come one person by themselves to bring it to you. Such a good catch, man.
Excellent find.
It's a proud moment finding a gun, and hopefully that firearm matches the ballistic evidence that we have, which would put a bow on this case.
Authorities were now in a strong position. Not only did they have enough evidence against Earl, but they had also successfully taken him into custody, which was a big step forward. Detectives were more than relieved to have him off the streets. Earl Simmons, however, was anything but at ease. From the very beginning, he was restless. It was as if he could feel the walls closing in around him. A fate he couldn't outrun, no matter how hard he tried.
Here comes the meltdown, y'all. Y'all ready? Here comes the meltdown. We get to see it all right now.
I'm Detective Vivian. Detective Keeper, both on the homicide division. Right now you're under arrest for 2 homicide charges. I'm under arrest for 2 homicide charges. I can explain everything to you, but prior to doing so, my advisor is arrest for Miranda, okay?
Yep, when they do your Miranda rights, that means you're going down. When they do Miranda rights, you are going down. Yep, you going down.
Detectives made it crystal clear there was no escape. After reading him his Miranda rights, they expected him to finally confess and reveal his motives, something that still remained a mystery.
Campbell, what's your girlfriend? I know that, yeah. But y'all gonna be girlfriend, boyfriend? I was hoping. I was really hoping so. Why'd you kill her? What the you mean, why did I kill her? Stop doing it. I didn't kill her, girl. Well, let me explain this to you, right?
Although Earl admitted to having a close relationship with Kayla, he completely denied killing her. So, detectives took the interrogation one step further. They revealed that they had found the murder weapon.
So, come on, man. The gun that's stuffed in the shoe in the closet? You got that. What? The gun stuffed in the shoe in the closet. Yeah, the Smith Wesson. Yeah, we got it.
But even then, Earl refused to budge, denying any connection to the gun. That was when detectives decided to play their final card.
This got nice. Okay, but look, also, I forgot to tell you. You think you know everything, but you don't, bro. You got a camera. That's not. That's not.
We know that it was you on both shootings.
Try trying to connect me to 2. You are connected. It's not trying. I need to go back out there and figure that out. Oh, figure it out. You want me to show you a picture again? Yeah, please. Don't be funny. Please do.
To prove they weren't bluffing, detectives printed out a still from the surveillance footage and slid it across the table. They watched him closely, expecting him to finally give in.
You can tell me that's not true. You can't. You can't tell me that's not true.
What does that have to do with any type of mercy? Is that you? What does that have to do with any type of courtesy? Is it you? You asked my question. No, it's not. Okay, who's that? Your twin? What's you right before you killed him? I know it. Number one, I didn't kill her. No matter what you tell me, okay, I gotta let you put that in my mind. Okay. Number two, what the? I don't know, you dress yourself.
You want the exact same thing as you want in that picture.
So look.
The tension in the room thickened.
Damn, so he not even clean enough to change his clothes. He wasn't even smart enough or clean enough to change his clothes. Wow. Just wearing the same thing everywhere. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
As Earl desperately tried to distance himself from the reality of the situation. But detectives weren't letting up. Seeing that he continued to deny any involvement in Kayla's murder, they shifted gears, bringing up Eddie's murder instead.
Detective Deesberg is also working a shooting. He can inform me about his shooting.
So I'm working an investigation late on that night at MLK in South Liberty.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Some guy
You know what I'm talking about?
Some guy got killed on the sidewalk.
I more or less want to know why you killed a homeless dude. Like,
Are you serious? A homeless man? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure it out too. You explain to us. So what's his name? And then you ran it right this way. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all coming at me with charges. So I'm asking questions just like y'all asking questions. It's not gonna look great when they go in this test fire and the cases come back and just in the house with you. That's not like anything. And then your brother wasn't there because I already got video from him at work. I guarantee you, you're gonna find out. You have anything else? You're gonna find out. All right, listen, listen. I want to thank you. Y'all go find out.
Detectives were now fed up with Earl's constant denial. But at this point, his confession didn't even matter. They had more than enough evidence to charge him with both murders. With that, they ended the interview and walked out of the interrogation room, ready to move forward with the legal proceedings. Yet, Earl wasn't going to sit quietly. He had completely lost it, perhaps realizing there was no way out now.
He got issued yesterday by the court. He was supposed to go to court, but he didn't go. Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons. Y'all got me in here. You talk about y'all just want to talk. Y'all want to question me. Y'all charge me with some. We're gonna move this handcuffs to the bag. I'm gonna get hired or something. Sorry. Talking about y'all. You ain't got nothing on me, man. He picked up the table. Okay. I'm gonna sit around, so. We're gonna move his handcuffs to the back. We're gonna get him transported. I could have just stayed if I really felt like that. Hey man, just try to relax for 1 second. Relax? What you mean relax? Come on, turn up. Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all got me on a homicide. I ain't even do it. I'm telling you, I ain't doing your bad. Now listen, man. This is what we're saying. This ain't. How the you turn? Go. Do it the right way, bro. Don't do that. Don't out of here like that. Don't do that. That ain't gonna help you. You see what I'm saying? Like, man, no, this is crazy, bro. Come on.
It definitely is crazy.
Officers had to step into the room and warn him to cooperate, making the arrest process smoother. However, Earl resisted until the very last moment. Earl's actions painted a chilling picture of his unstable and violent nature, a darkness that likely lay at the heart of his unthinkable crimes.
Come on, let's go.
You understand what happened? So we have evidence to support your arrest. You don't get us the whole story. You're the one that has parts of the story. It's up to you. Evidence to support my arrest? What evidence?
Eventually, he was booked into the Orleans Parish Justice Center on 2 counts of second-degree murder. As of now, there are no updates on his trial. However, the silver lining is that the individual responsible for these heinous acts is now off the streets.
Yup. They got your photo as you walking across the street with the person who passed away. They see you on the other camera. They see the flash point of the gun. They see all that. And then you did another one the same night earlier. Some homeless guy. You just felt like taking somebody out. You just felt like busting a gun. Like, man, bro. Man. Got him up off the street with the quickness. That man ain't get 2 weeks out there. They said 11 days or something like that, bro. Man. This was a wild story. And the dude had the craziest meltdown. Well, that's pretty much it, y'all. Professor Hawk signing out. Hawk Sensei bids you adieu. I hope you enjoyed this reaction, y'all. Toodaloo.